Hello friends, Miss Natalie here, and today I'm going to show you how I added low and high relief to my relief sculpture. I have it sideways just because of camera angles, but I'm going to move it up and down so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with the things that are kind of farther away, but still part of my main image, which is the cactus in the pot with the flower. So I'm going to start with those three lobes that are in the back, and I'm going to add small pieces of clay to build them up. I'm not building them up too much, just a little bit more than the background. You can see I'm smoothing each of the bits of clay in and then going over it, smoothing them together with my plastic knife. I tell you, a plastic knife or the handle of a plastic spoon is a great sculpture tool. The next thing I'm going to do, same technique, using small bits of clay to build up that center back lobe of my cactus. It's really important. Oh, there's my cactus. Got to have that image there so I can remember what I'm doing. It's really important to smooth in pieces to the background really well. Otherwise, when they dry, they might just pop right off. So you got to kind of incorporate the bits that you are adding into the background by smoothing it out into that background clay. And it's not too hard to do that with a fingernail or your fingers. One thing I'm not showing you, but is a good idea, is to have a small bowl of water. You can dip your fingertips into it, and that can help smooth things as well. Especially, you can see the clay is drying out on my fingers. It's not drying out on my sculpture, but it does make my fingers pretty dry. So I'm again smoothing it down with the knife. And now I'm going to work on these big lobes. The three lobes that are in front, they are going to stick way out. They're going to be the first part of my high relief. And so I'm making them even larger than the ones that are in the back. It's kind of hard to see with this particular lighting. It kind of flattens it out, but you will definitely see it when it is time for me to paint them. Just how much those front three lobes of the cactus stick out. And I'm even forming them ahead of time just so I have the shape right, and then blending it in to that background with my knife. Sometimes using the blades, sometimes using the back, and sometimes using my fingers and my fingernails. A lot of smoothing, a lot of blending going on. Again, really important that they're blended together so that they don't just pop off when it's dry. You can always glue them back on. It's just, I feel like, easier. Okay, and again, reshaping the lobe of the cactus. Now, if you are following this tutorial step by step, please feel free to pause at any time and then reset it. I've decided to smooth it a little bit more. And now I'm going to work on the flower. From the skip in the video that I started a technique I didn't like, and so I abandoned it and started a new technique. I was trying to make the flower all together and then stick it on at the end, and it just wasn't working. So I decided to roll the individual petals of the flower. I wanted it to look kind of like a mum or well, you know, like a cactus flower that kind of sticks out, very pointy, kind of the whole pointy thing. So I'm basically rolling out the different points of my flower. You can see I'm rolling them in my hands and then sticking them down and pushing hard and smoothing so that they are all stuck together. And I do have to say that my piece is dried now and none of those petals have popped off. So I'm making them even pointier. And I'm actually, when the camera was off, I added even more petals to my flower. And I'm just kind of smoothing things in, again, making sure everything is smoothed into the background so it will not come off. All right, the final part of the low relief is the pot. And I am first rolling the pieces for the top and the bottom of the pot because I want them to be very distinct. And one thing I'm doing is making the center of the pot stick out more than the sides to sh show you that it is a rounded pot, because real rounded pots are closer to you in the front than in the back. Smoothing that down and then doing the rest of the main body of the pot the way that I did those back lobes of the cactus. So piece by piece, smoothing it out, pressing it down, making sure it is smoothed out into the background so that it doesn't come off. I just, again, I can't tell you how many times folks have been working with this clay and they didn't smooth it in and their pieces just came right off once it started drying. And I'm going to save that clay for later. I'm actually going to use some of it for my flower off camera, and I'm going to smooth this down. So using my knife, using my fingernails, using my fingertips. Here's where a little bit of water on my fingertips would have helped, but I'm going to actually come back and do that a little bit later when I am carving into this relief sculpture in order to create texture and some patterns and some low relief. So right now I've got my high relief, not low relief, sunken relief. That's what I'm going to do next. I've got my high relief, I've got my low relief. I am good, and you can go make some art using this as your inspiration.